And I know on one part of those questions, it asks you, how does your family approve of those that you're seeing? And some of us, we get the validation from family because when family tells you they're psycho, you need to let go. See, the reason why a lot of people are crying out and pouring their heart out in the relationship because you're trying to validate something God did not ordain in the first place. See, nobody needs to have confusion and conflict in a relationship. And let me say this while this is on my spirit. Those who are dating, that's not the same as being married. I don't know where we're getting this confusion that everything we're dating, we're supposed to be married and committed and everything else like that. Baby, if you want the commitment, you come down to the altar. You seek the man and woman of God for counseling first and get it right. See, the reason why a lot of people are crying in their relationship is because they're trying to work something and put something together. Baby, you can't raise a grown man. Stop trying to put something back together and fix something that their mama and daddy couldn't fix in the first place. I may not be talking to this crowd, but I'm talking to somebody out there who's listening to this, because I know people that will try to fix a grown man and re-raise a grown man and make a grown man do certain things. And I'm like, baby, you're wasting your time. And they keep crying out, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to do this. Baby, if mama and daddy couldn't help him, let him go. Let him go. And brothers, not every woman out there wants you. Because a lot of brothers out there crying, oh man, I can't lose her, I can't mess up. If God wants you to be with her, he'll work it out for you to be with him. You ain't got to chase nobody. You ain't got to run them down. If they don't want to be with you, let them go. I was telling the church, prior to me dating my wife, and my wife knows everything about me, so don't anyone leave out of here thinking, ooh, Pastor Gooding said something crazy. We grew up together around the corner, so she knows all my crazy antics. She's already got me labeled as something anyway. I don't want to say it from the pulpit, and I definitely don't want to say it on this being recorded either. It's nothing crazy, but it's something I don't even want to hear her say about me. But I'll never forget, I was telling the church I was dating a girl and broke up, and she was out there with somebody else. I was happy as pie. I was like, woo, thank you. I didn't even know God at the time, and I was glorifying and giving thanks, because that was a headache I didn't even have to worry about saying goodbye to. She let it go. I didn't have to worry about crying, and that's just a sign right there. If they're going to mess around on you, that's why God didn't want you with them in the first place. Because we think we're God's gift to women. No, be God's gift to one woman, the one he seeks and finds for you. Learn how to pray and say, God, is this the one? Is this the one? Women, same thing. And not every man coming up there trying to take care of you is for you. See, the problem is with women is a man gives you something and sustains you for a moment. You think you're his. Oh, that's all mine. Ooh, he's everything to me. He bought me this and he bought me that. Ooh, I'm in love. And then later on, you crying out to the pastors of the church, wondering, he ain't coming back. No, he's not coming back. Because you got confused with a sustenance being a promise, and God never promised you that man in the first place. See, if a promise is going to come into place, God will not break his promise. He'll hold on to his word. Whatever he has for you is for you. Let me just share this with y'all. Years ago when I met my wife lived around the corner from me. I wanted to date her, interested in her, and she kind of like just kicked me to the curb. I had to kind of put my game on in place at first. And then I had to let her know, but she saw the commitment that I had in myself, and we became one. We were total opposites. And every time when I think I broke up with her one time, broke up again, it was like we ended up back together. And that's a sign right there. What God is going to ordain, he'll put it back together and work, because God knows your future. And he knows who's going to be best for your future. Yes, we go through ups and downs. We've had some heartaches and pains. We've had some headaches. But I've learned how to trust God, because this year we'll be celebrating 24 years of marriage. And why am I saying this? Because years ago, prior to her, I had some cries. I didn't want to run the street. I didn't want to get out there and just be with everybody. I wanted to settle down and be with one woman, raise a family, start a family, have a house. I wanted to make plans, and God was making the provision for those plans. And I thank God as I look back over my life and give him the praise right now. God did it. But he can answer all your cries. And you have to adhere to what he's saying as far as answering to your cries, because a lot of times he's going to just pull you right out. He's going to pull you away from certain things. In other words, he may just snatch you right out, because a lot of times when you're crying, he's like, okay, let's go. It's time to move. But sometimes what we do is say, Lord, wait, I got to do something. You want to put God on pause, but it's time for us to go into the promised land. It's time for us to get ready to cross over. Because a lot of times we look back over our lives and we learn as a testimony to share with others, that teach others not to go through the struggles and the heartaches you've been through. Now, the latter part of this text, Exodus 14, 15, and 16. The Lord said to Moses, "Why do you cry for me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward, but lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry land, dry ground, through the midst of the sea." And I want to say this: crossing over on dry land, God opens a door for those who are going to go through it. In other words, there's a promise, but you got to